I already asked Savannah this, but I need to ask Rich. Rich, do you remember Captain Planet? Or is that
Captain Planet?
Captain Planet?
Oh, yeah.
Captain
Yes,
Planet
yes.
and the Planeteers.
And the Planeteers, yeah, of course.
Captain Planet, you mean the one, the TV, the toy?
Yeah, the show.
Where you, the one where you put the TV, the toy gets the TV?
Wait, no, but you got to explain this.
Well, I'm thinking
What?
Captain Power.
Captain Power. Well, I've never heard of
Captain
Captain Power.
No, Captain. Well, Chris was explaining it to me. Is this?
Do you have any? Did you remember this at all, or have you just seen like the memes and the
meme with the
powers combined?
The powers combined.
Yeah.
I triggers in memory for me, but it's like very vague.
No, that's fine. I was super into Captain Planet when I was like 5 or 6, whenever it was on. And they basically had the 5 Planeteers, right? And they all combined their powers because they had these like power rings. And yeah, I was a nerdy little kid for sure. But
so when our powers combine.
Exactly. Then Captain Planet appears. So saves the day. We're all good.
And what we're talking about today is our powers combining.
For Captain Planet marketing.
Yeah, a.k.a. direct mail and digital marketing.
That's right. So which ring? Do you want the direct mail ring or do you want the digital marketing ring?
I'll take the direct mail ring, please. You can have the digital marketing one.
I'll take it. So what we're talking about today is how we can combine the power of digital and direct mail to create powerhouse long tail campaigns. There's been a lot of talk about the dark funnel and how are people buying now? What can we track? What can't we track? But in a world where we're selling to people, whether we're selling B2C or B2B, in a way we're kind of having what I would call a market correction a little bit, where we've really put, everybody's gone heavy digital for so long now that direct mail is having a bit of a renaissance, I would say.
Yeah, and so I think the other part of that is, you mentioned it earlier, we spend a lot of time on our screens these days. Mm-hmm. And so when you mention direct mail to somebody, maybe not in our world or even, somebody else, I always think of one flat mail piece that says
100%.
Current resident.
Yep.
Non-personalized, just super, I'm throwing this in the trash.
It's been like really top of mind for me because it's tax time, right? So the homeowner you get your home insurance.
Tax
appraisal.
Not
home insurance. What am I talking about? Yeah, the house. Why can't I think of the term? Rich,
tax appraisal.
Property taxes.
There you go. Property tax appraisal. And and then you get a stream of 20 different companies who are like, hey, you're getting taxed too much. But literally every single one looks the same within a certain spectrum. And it's always like just a blank envelope with specially prepared for your name and make it look very official. But then you open it and I immediately throw it away. But yeah, that's not what we're talking about with direct mail.
And what we're talking about is the opposite of that.
Right.
It's something way cooler, something that
gets
really
attention
and
impresses.
Impresses who you're sending it to.
Right. So when we talk about direct mail, we're not talking about a flat mailer with a generic current resident address label, that type of thing. We're talking about things that get attention, that break up the monotony of digital advertising, and also that kind of surprise and delight along the way. Where I think it's good to start is talking about digital and direct mail in conjunction with one another. They each have their place, right? They each have their purpose. I think what's happened a lot of times is digital has been used for so long as a means to drive a response, right? For a long time, it's been the home of direct response marketing tactics, which still work and they still have a place. But it's definitely shifted because it's now the norm, right? Everybody's used to having ads on every single platform they're on. So how do you break that up? How do you have, there's a lot of talk about, and there has been for a long time, about when you're creating a digital ad, it's about the pattern interrupt, right? Mm-hmm. How do you stop the scroll? And it's, in a way, direct mail is kind of taking a step back and saying, okay, how do we have a pattern interrupt that interrupts and creates a memorable, brand recall?
Well, thing is, everyone loves getting mail.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I know I wait for packages that I ordered myself that I know is coming. Mm-hmm. So versus when someone's sending something, it's excitement. It's impressive. That's what I'm trying to say here, is that it creates excitement, builds buzz.
It leaves you with an impression. Yeah. Like there's something there that is memorable. Hannah, our writer, had an excellent line in her post about it where it's basically kids don't write emails to Santa, they write letters, right?
Even in this day and age.
Yeah, they still do it. There's something about the handwritten letter, about getting it physically in the mail. There's something to that. It just creates something tangible. So one of the things that we really focus on here at VLG is how do we use direct mail to create or extend an experience. Digital and direct mail have very clear roles within a broader campaign that can create dimension. They can add spice, right? They can add different elements that can create a larger brand recall along the way throughout a campaign. Just some quick ways to think about that would be using digital to obviously engage, stay top of mind with your digital ad spend, but also to create maybe an initial engagement. But direct mail can really be a massive pipeline accelerator in a lot of ways because we're still selling and marketing to human beings. And so going back to thinking about what creates an actual impression upon somebody.
Well, I think you said it best, is mail is tangible. It's something we can hold and see. So that really gives it the human connection and emotion that someone actually took time and cares about getting this to me. I think it really is what adds the value versus digital is so quick and easy and it's so automated these days. So I think there's a place for both, obviously. But I think definitely harnessing the use of direct mail, it just adds a new dimension, especially these days.
It layers in an element of personality or and even personalization into those touch points. And Rich has a great story about one of VLG's long tail campaigns that involved a simple piece of direct mail that still to this day has brand recall that is what goes back probably 15 years, 14 years, something like that.
It's probably since 05, right? So more than 15 years now.
That's
right?
crazy.
I was 10.
I wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
No, we did a hotel key card. That was the most famous mail piece VLG has ever done. And we would send it with a little cocktail napkin, with a little handwritten note on it, meet at the lobby for a drink or something like that. And the experience of the site back in those days was you get the key, drag it to the door, it opens the door, and then you would go into the lobby, and then you'd be offered on the proposition what you're buying. But people didn't know what it was. It was the kind of the bait and switch effect, which was very popular back in 2005. No one was doing that. But the mail piece itself was super, super memorable. I've been to a bunch of different events over the years, and one in particular stands out that we went to a Rangers game, Texas Rangers game. We got like a free, you go and they say, if you sit through this demo, you'll be able to.
You were getting a timeshare.
Free tickets. It's a timeshare. Yeah, it's a timeshare one. We were talking to the marketer, and we were saying, me and one of the former owners were talking to her. We said, what was the most memorable marketing thing you've ever gotten? Because she was a marketer. And she said, I don't know the name of the company, but I got this hotel key card one time. And I still remember, I showed it to everybody in my office. It's the most creative thing they've ever done. And that was us. And we even said it, that was us. And we've had that conversation. I've had at least 2 or 3 times. Some of the sales teams had it 2 or 3 times. It just sticks. So try to find something that's memorable is the key right there.
Yeah, and it's crazy how there are those things, whether it's a direct mail piece or a piece of content you've engaged with, or even a relationship you've built with somebody at a company. There are those things that you put kind of stakes in the ground of like, I will remember that. I might not be in a buyer's mode right now, but I will remember that in the future, right?
Well, we consumers do that. On B2C stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So definitely the same thing exists in B2B.
It's merging because of the ubiquity of digital. It's merging. I mean, we're still marketing and selling to individual people, one-to-one. And the best way to think about what creates a great experience and how can you extend these digital campaigns with, physical, tangible pieces is to think about how are people buying right now? How do people like to buy? How do people like to be sold? And then also considering what would make this, the first thing you should consider, in my opinion, is what would make this memorable. If you're selling B2B, what would make this something that they're going to hold on to or at least have in their brain for a long time of when I'm ready or when I need this, this is the bookmark in my head that I have that I'm going to go to.
Right. And I think with us, there's 3 points that we always try to focus on when we're sending direct mail.
Yeah, there's kind of 3 levels. There's obviously a lot of nuance to it, but that first level being something dimensional but simple, right? Like the key card, like Rich was talking about, that really drives a lot of intrigue. And there's an element of delight to it, so it's kind of a spectrum, I would say, but to me, that's the biggest thing. If you get a key card in the mail, you're intrigued.
Instantly.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what is this?
I recently got I don't know if I want to talk about this because this is going to be in a pitch soon, I'm sure, but I got a bank bag and it had all the markings of an actual bank and it was all scuffed up and had stamps on it. And it was a money bag. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't think anyone believes these anymore. But can you imagine back in the day, the first time someone sent a car key?
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
yeah, totally.
Now that's really overdone. But back then you were like, you mean this could start a car, I could get a free car? That's kind of the idea behind that.
We did that.
We did.
Yeah, there you go.
We did a valet key, and
There you go.
one of the account managers at the time got in a little bit of trouble because I guess one of the clients that ran the campaign, one of their customers, was very concerned that they had lost their car or something. Their husband lost their car or something like that. Yeah, it was.
I can see that.
We have a few stories
man.
about people getting a little bit too excited about
A male.
a little bit of excited reaction.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, because it's intriguing.
That's it. Yeah, it's true.
At the end of the day.
They kind of know, but they kind of don't know.
Yeah,
Right? At that level, we're building awareness. We're trying to create some brand recall and intrigue people. Next level, obviously, is that delight level. That's where you get kind of more into the gifting phase of things. Thinking about things like gift cards, which, look, nobody hates getting a gift card. Nobody doesn't like free money, right?
Exactly.
Personalized bobbleheads has been one that's been trendy over the years.
Someone got my dad one time a personalized Wheaties box.
There you go.
They had formed like a personal connection with him through calls and whatnot. He gets added to a mailing list. He gets his personalized Wheaties box. That is still in his office today, and he still does business with who sent that Wheaties box to him.
That's
one of
great.
his favorite clients.
Yeah, they are. If you can create delight, that gets you a long way with folks. And it's a natural way to build an actual relationship with somebody, is to delight them and to show a little personality and show that you genuinely care. And then the final level really is that incentive, kind of that higher end piece that you want to express your appreciation for taking time, right? So recently we've done a few campaigns where it's an Oculus or AirPods, something that is of value that they're going to absolutely remember that.
I like the AirPod one, and I think we did that one around when working from home was very new to everybody. That's an amazing gift because you're going from working in the office to being at home with dogs, kids, roommates.
Yeah, and
Send some AirPods. I'm in.
For sure. And it goes beyond the business use case, right? It goes into things that they're gonna take our AirPods on vacation with them. They're gonna take them
to the gym
to walk the dog, right?
Exactly.
So going outside of that, here's a coffee mug. Taking that extra step and saying, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time. Whether or not now is the right time doesn't matter. We just appreciate your time and your attention. They will absolutely remember that. If I got free AirPods, I would remember. There's no question about that. So,
and I'll tell you what, if I got free AirPods, I'm going to go back to that business that gave me the free AirPods just because it was so thoughtful and nice. They actually care about their consumers. I'm definitely doing business with them.
Yeah,
that's
for
the
sure.
other thing too, that B2B, there's data that shows that people are more loyal to their vendors in a business setting than they are to in a consumer setting. So
Sure.
like you said, the company that sent you those AirPods, you're going to remember that. And the Wheaties box, they're going to remember that. And they form a tighter relationship than they would be if somebody that just bought something from, say, Amazon or Best Buy, where just price comes into play, not so much the relationship. So,
yeah, and that's
Speaking of price, though, I was going to say, Hannah provided us some wonderful stats.
Oh yeah, thank
in
you.
2020,
Hannah.
the average per person on direct mail was $167, and the return was about $2,900 in revenue. So I think those rates speak for themselves. That's a huge ROI.
It's great. I mean, it's 1,300% ROI. If you can get that, we'll take that every day.
Right.
But it's true because to me, that number speaks to the acceleration that can happen when you involve personal, tangible elements to a broader campaign, right? It's back to the original point of digital is not going away. You have to stay in front of people. There's ways to engage, delight, become known, liked, trusted on digital. But if you can drop in at certain intervals in the, within a campaign or within your long tail sales cycle, those physical, tangible pieces that show that you're a real person and they're a real person and remind them of that, that accelerates everything.
It builds a connection
yeah.
you can't beat.
It also gives you a brand recall, an element of brand recall that is untrackable and irreplaceable. It really is. We have to think about these campaigns as a holistic piece, right? So all of these touch points are important. All of your digital touch points are important. But if you can drop in those physical, tangible moments and drop those in throughout a campaign, right? They are potentially your most impactful touch points, but yet they are still You might not know, because you might not know for a year. It might take 3 sales cycles for that person to actually end up buying from you, but that is the thing that they're going to remember. So getting out of that mode of we have to be able to track every single piece of this campaign, otherwise it's a failure. That's an example of why that's, maybe not the best approach. You have to look at the qualitative and the quantitative. Rich, you had a thought about that as well.
Well, I mean, like you said, the touch points are important. And if you think about it, the whole buyer's journey, we're trying to, gauge their awareness first of all, right? Then engage their desire about the product and their interest, and then obviously at the point where they actually convert and sell or buy. Those connection points, those stops along the buyer's journey happen over a long period of time, like you just said, because it could be one thing that triggers another thing that triggers another thing. It's almost like a defining moment in your life where you get to a point where you remember something that changed the direction of your life.
Core memory.
Yeah, core memory, exactly.
Totally. It's a core...
For core marketing memory.
Core marketing memory. Yeah,
There
we're
you
going
go.
to coin that.
Yeah,
There you go.
Exactly. That's a big thing, and it could be the smallest detail, but it could make them think 2 jobs later. We've had examples where the hotel key card, we closed the deal with a person that got it 3 companies ago, but they remembered us and then they brought us with them. We've got a lot of people, a lot of jobs at a lot of different companies. They do a campaign with us, it's successful. They leave the job, they get a new job, they bring us with them. So
I think that's a good way to wrap it up, because that's essentially, no matter what the touch point is along the way, you're trying to create that
connection,
that core marketing memory, right?
Brand recall.
That brand recall. Yeah,
Absolutely.
They all work together to do that. They're both important. How can you be more personal? How can you create that core marketing memory and extend that experience a little bit more? And then it also illustrates what we're going to talk about in the next episode with just how messy the buyer's journey has become, and diving into the very scary sounding dark funnel, and how that is really, it tells us a lot about how we're buying these days, and that because we can't track everything, does that mean if we can't track it, is it still worth doing? And we'll kind of talk about that on another episode, but this all factors in.
But what we can say is worth doing is direct mail. Combining with digital, it really forms the connections and the brand recall that you're looking for.
Yep. Create those core marketing memories.
Core marketing
Trademark.
memories. Yeah. That's our new term.